What's up guys, Houndish here, and today I wanted to jump in and talk about some Destiny 2 new stuff. So there's a few bugs, including a strike loot bug, and a few other things worth knowing. I also wanted to break down some new faction rally rewards, some of the ornaments. There are also new reward packages, some emblems with interesting Easter eggs, and a bunch of other things. I also wanted to break down some new exotic catalysts, and some insights about Sandbox tuning, Crucible Labs, and a couple of other things. Before we get into the video though, my friends over at Gamerlink are doing their summer giveaway with some pretty awesome prizes. There's a really neat Omen gaming laptop, a Vertigear Racing Series chair, and a bunch of HyperX stuff that you have a chance of winning, so if you want to check that out, the link will be in the description below. So before we get into anything else, there are a couple of bugs worth knowing about. So Bungie helped tweet it out. We have confirmed that Nightfall exclusive rewards are not currently dropping for Destiny 2 base and Curse of Osiris strikes. We are actively investigating. So definitely worth knowing this one. I've actually heard of a number of people who've put quite a bit of time in this week because it is the Tree of Probabilities where you have a chance to get the DFA hand cannon. A lot of people were reporting that they just had absolutely no luck this week, so just bear that in mind. It looks like strike specific loot for anything other than Warmind strikes is not actually dropping. Certainly pretty unfortunate to the folks who spent a whole bunch of time grinding this week. Next though, there is an API update that allows players to actually equip and unequip items using Item Manager or Ishtar Commander, anything like that. This is a workaround though, so essentially you can only do it when your characters are not actively logged in. Bungie turned it off because of a glitch and it meant that you couldn't equip any of those items, but when you're signed out you'll be able to do it, so just a quick heads up while we wait for a proper fix. Now though, I wanted to talk about some faction rally stuff for Season 3. I've previously spoken about the new Renown system, and this appears to be the new kind of reputation system that will be pretty interesting. Bungie are actually going to give us a full breakdown of how that works, but there are some interesting rewards. So if we look at the new emblems for Season 3, the new Monarchy one is called 4 times a ruler. For Dead Orbit we have 1 orbit remains, and Future War Cult have the 0 future emblem. And as Gamebird pointed out on Reddit, the emblems actually reference the faction victories so far. So New Monarchy 4 times a ruler, of course Dead Orbit only got 1 win, and Future War Cult have yet to get a win. So it's kind of interesting that Bungie decided to do that, almost a little bit trolly as well. I wonder if they'll do that going into Season 4, you know, based on what happens in Season 3. We should probably talk about some of the rewards though, because of course that's going to influence who actually wins. So there are exotic ornaments that you can get when you reach rank 50 for each of the factions. So we have Gaze Beyond Worlds for the Eye of Another World. This comes from Dead Orbit. Predestination for the Knucklehead Radar, and this comes from FWC. But then New Monarchy actually get a somewhat unique one, the Blazing Hearth for the Crest of Alpha Lupi. And if you look real close, you can actually see the New Monarchy logo on the front of this exotic chess piece, which is really cool. I'm not sure if there are logos or anything like that on the others. I can't see them in the icons, but certainly interesting that they're doing some of this stuff with the ornaments. There are of course new armor ornaments that you can get inside of Season 3 as well. Some of these are pretty interesting. Goliath is Bay actually made some images of these and put them on Reddit. These are just out of the thumbnails because we can't inspect them fully yet. But here we have the new Monarchy stuff. So we've got the Warlock set right there. And these come with this really interesting pattern effect. We also have the Hunter. That cloak is going to be pretty awesome. And then of course the Titan. So pretty loud stuff for New Monarchy right there. I personally think it looks pretty cool. But then we have the new Dead Orbit stuff. It's also worth mentioning the colors that we're seeing here will be the base colors for the new shaders for Season 3. And then we have the Hunter, which actually may look pretty cool from Dead Orbit. And finally the Titan. And then of course FWC have new ornaments as well, sporting the new kind of updated FWC logo. So we've got the Warlock right there, and the Hunter also featuring the logo, and then finally the Titan stuff. So those are the new armor ornaments. Personally, I think the new Monarchy stuff looks really cool. To be honest, I think it's probably because, you know, it's purely cosmetic right now, and I think it's the most interesting looking armor compared to stuff that you can get elsewhere in the game. But that's just me. Let me know your thoughts below. I did briefly mention before that there are new emotes that you can get from the faction rallies. I say faction rallies, they're actually inside of classified packages, and these are akin to what you would normally find in Eververse. So you get the Sign of the Future FWC emote. You also get Fireteam medallions and the War Cult endgame, which is one of the shaders. And then you've got the same thing for Dead Orbit with the Dead Orbit Iraq greeting emote, and then for New Monarchy, Hail the Monarch. So whether these are going to be essentially paywalled, things that you have to buy via Eververse, or whether there will be some gameplay route to earn them, it isn't entirely clear yet. But of course we did see what they did with the Iron Banner emote. Often these bundles do require actual silver, not silver dust, but let's wait and see what Bungie do. I do have to say though, they have fleshed out a bunch of other rewards for the faction rallies, including the new exotic catalysts. For the exotic catalysts, you will have to reach rank 50. One of the most popular ones is definitely going to be the Graviton Lance right here. Once you hit rank 50, you can obtain this catalyst and then start progressing on it. This comes from Dead Orbit. It is going to grant more range, plus 20 points, and plus 15 points of aim assist with the Hidden Hand perk. So I think that's definitely going to get a few folks grinding for Dead Orbit. Sunshot Catalyst comes from FWC at rank 50, and this will grant 30 points of range and 20 points of bonus stability to the Sunshot. Definitely good stat buffs, not flashy but solid. And then we have Sweet Business coming from New Monarchy with the Serious Business perk. When the weapon is fully spun up, the flinch from incoming damage is greatly reduced. I think the fact that they've put class-specific ornaments at different ranks and then these catalysts at different ranks in different factions is very interesting because it has the potential to kind of pull people into factions specifically for those items, but of course they have to hit that maximum rank. So I don't know whether Bungie are trying to kind of tip the scales a little bit, but it will definitely be interesting to see which factions get the most reputation this time around considering this new reward system. On the subject of catalysts though, very briefly, Bungie the other day updated the Mida multi-tool and now you can get the catalyst for this. And from what I'm hearing, this will come from the competitive playlist and it does lean towards wins. But the upgrade for this will grant the perk Outlaw for the weapon, and precision kills will greatly decrease the reload time. Of course, Mida does have very good handling and very good stats in general, so it tends to reload pretty quick. Of course, with Outlaw, it's going to reload very quick. It's not really an insane upgrade or anything like that. I think it would definitely feel pretty cool taking down a bunch of folks and then reloading really fast. But I'm curious, will you guys be jumping into competitive to try and get this catalyst? Also, as we've mentioned, next week we get the final step of the Nest and Dawn quest. We already have the Polaris Lance, so a lot of people think it could be the catalyst. And this catalyst will actually give Polaris Lance Firefly, or Dragonfly, should I say. I'm always going to just use the D1 names, man. Either way, considering the mixed reviews on the Polaris Lance, I think it could be a solid upgrade. It's definitely going to make it better, but I don't necessarily think it will be an opinion changer for most people. Now though, we have a few bits of information and roundups for the week. So Bungie actually removed the ability to earn raid layer weapons or raid weapons in general from Benedict's inventory. So how it works now is that players must earn raid layer weapons from raid layer checkpoints. Raid layer armor must either be earned through the checkpoints or direct purchase using tokens once the raid layer has been beaten on a given week. They also increased the prices for the pieces of armor, so it's worth just noting those updates if you do plan to try and get anything on any of the resets. Now though, we have some insights about Crucible Labs. This is the new PTR. Of course, this week they have a new game mode called Showdown. Triple Rec actually asked Derek Carroll from Bungie if there will be any sandbox or balancing changes previewed inside of this playlist, and Derek Carroll said, as a rule, Crucible Labs will not touch the sandbox balance. So pretty interesting, they don't plan to actually bring sandbox updates into that playlist. Josh Hamrick did elaborate on this, and he speaks about the things holding them back. So he says, firstly, time. All of the Sandbox team is heads down and tied up with major work and results coming soon. So of course that'll be stuff happening in the summer and in September. Secondly though, technology. With some clever tricks we may be able to simulate certain changes, but most Sandbox changes can't be made without affecting the entire game beyond the bounds of Crucible Labs. He also says he may try and address some of these issues in a future This Week at Bungie update, but at least we get some clarification there. They're not going to be looking at Sandbox stuff inside of Crucible Labs. It's going to be, game modes and things like that. As we've seen in many areas of the game, they do have issues with separating sandbox balance, between PvE, PvP, and naturally this also will include things like these different modes. So I'd be curious to hear your guys' thoughts on that. I think it definitely would be beneficial to preview sandbox changes. Maybe down the road they can do more with it. I think it's certainly good that we have Crucible Labs there for now, and hopefully Bungie will explain more of what they're going to be showing us and what it's actually going to be used for. But like I said, I'd be curious to hear what you guys think about the sandbox element of that. So anyway guys, that is going to summarize this video. Plenty of stuff to talk about. Let me know your thoughts below. If you have enjoyed the video, a like is very much appreciated. If you're new to the channel, be sure to hit subscribe if you want to see a lot more Destiny 2 content. For now though, whatever you guys get up to, I hope you have an awesome day.